What are the steps involved in balancing a chemical equation? Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss how to balance hydrogen and oxygen to form water and also what are the various steps involved. So the first step in order to balance any chemical equation will be you have to write the correct chemical formulae. What do you mean by correct chemical formulae? Each element, that is for example hydrogen, it has a molecular formula H2. So write those molecular formulas and form a chemical equation. So any chemical equation will be formed of reactants and products. So here it is telling me hydrogen and oxygen are reacting. It means they are on the LHS, and then it is forming water, means it is in the RHS. So the elements which are present on the left side are called as LHS of the arrow, and the elements which are present on the right side of the arrow are called as RHS. So the equation is H2 plus O2 giving H2O. Now the second step will be I have to observe the elements. So how to observe the elements? Just observe the LHS. No need to observe the RHS, because whatever the elements are formed on the RHS are because of LHS. So first observe what is the LHS. So here if I observe, my LHS is H2 plus O2 is my LHS. That is hydrogen and oxygen I have are the LHS. So in the element table, in the table, first I will write element as my column, and element I have the symbols. So symbol of hydrogen is H, symbol of oxygen is O. So I'll write hydrogen and oxygen. And then on the right side, I have number of atoms and left hand side and right hand side. Okay, so how many atoms are there on left hand side of hydrogen? I will write here. How many atoms are there on the right hand side of hydrogen? I will write here. Similarly, how many atoms I have on LHS of oxygen? I will write here. And how many atoms I have on the RHS of oxygen? I will write here. Now, I have to count the number of atoms of the elements on both the reactant and product side. There is LHS and RHS. So if I count hydrogens, how many hydrogens are there on the LHS? 2 hydrogens. So I have written 2 hydrogens. Now how many oxygens are there on the LHS? 2 oxygens. How many oxygens are there on the LHS? 2 oxygens. So I have written here 2 oxygens. Now coming to the RHS, how many hydrogens are there? The number which is written below is also counted as atom, because this is a molecular formula of H2. So it is there from beginning only. So this is also counted as atom. So hydrogen has 2 atoms. So I will write here 2 atoms. Now if I observe, both are having 2, 2. It means the LHS and RHS of hydrogen is balanced. And now how many oxygens I have here? As I said, the oxygen is 1 here because no coefficient is there here. So it is nothing but 1 is present before H2O. So the number of atoms of oxygen are 1. And this 2 belongs only to hydrogen. It does not belong to oxygen. So oxygen has only 1 atom. That I will write 1. Now, after this table is made, what you have to do is step 3, if the number of atoms on reactant and product side are not equal, that is here if I observe, the number of atoms of oxygen on the LHS and RHS are not equal. So I need to make them equal. How to make them equal? This 2 is 2 only, but this 1 I can make as 2. How can this 1 I make as 2? I can make this 1 as 2 by multiplying with 2, because 1 into 2 is 2. Then it will become 2. So the atoms can be balanced. So again, same table, element, number of atoms, LHS, RHS. So element, I know hydrogen and oxygen are there. LHS, RHS, already hydrogen was balanced. I have written 2, 2. Now in case of oxygen, this LHS is 2 only. Only what am I changing here? I am just changing the RHS of oxygen. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. Why am I changing the RHS of oxygen? Because here if I have 2, here also I have to make it as 2. So 1 into 2 is 2. Now the next step involved will be whatever table you have here, that you have to write in the form of a derivative equation. It means earlier, what are you changing? You're changing only the RHS of oxygen. So this LHS is remaining same, H2 plus O2 only here, H2 plus O2 giving rise to. In RHS I'm changing here, oxygen is changing here. But this oxygen where I have 2, I cannot write it below. Remember, you should never write 2 below oxygen. You should always write it beside the compound. That is, H2O is a compound here which is made of hydrogen and oxygen. So if I want to write the atoms of oxygen to balance it, I will write it before the compound water, H2O. So this is the 2 where I have written. Now what I'll do is, I will continue doing this step until the atoms on both sides become equal. So here if I count how many atoms I have of hydrogen, 2 hydrogens on LHS, but how many atoms are there on the RHS? 2 2s are 4. 4 atoms on hydrogen. Whatever element is there, whatever coefficient is there beside and whatever coefficient is there below, that also I need to multiply in order to calculate the number of atoms of hydrogen. So 2 2s are 4, 4 hydrogens are there. So 2 and 4, so they both are unequal, so they're not balanced. Hydrogen atoms are not balanced. Now coming to oxygen, oxygen has 2 atoms, whereas now oxygen has 2 atoms. So oxygen is balanced now, hydrogen is not balanced. So I will write the table again, element, number of atoms, LHS, RHS, hydrogen, oxygen. As we saw, what are we doing here? Why I have written 2 into 2 is 4, because you saw beside 2 is there and below also 2 is there. That is why I have written 4. Now this is 4. So I need to make this 2 also as 4. How can I make this 2 of LHS as 4? I can multiply this with 2, because 2 2s are 4. That is what I am doing in the next table. I am multiplying this 2 with 2. So 2 2s are 4. Now 4 and 4 both are equal in hydrogen, and oxygen also 2 and 2 both on LHS and RHS are equal. So if I observe, I think it is balanced. So again what I will write is I will edit the equation. How to edit the equation? If I observe, in this I had H2 plus O2. So what am I editing here? I am editing the LHS of hydrogen in the next table. So before H2 I have to write 2. So that is what I am doing. This same equation is there. Nothing will change. Only hydrogen will change. That is, beside hydrogen I am writing 2 atoms. Okay. So beside hydrogen I have written 2 atoms. So 2 2s are 4. So why I am writing 2 2s are 4 means this 2 into 2 is 4. That is how it has made 4. So I am just adding 2. So I am writing here 2. Now, as we observed, the LHS and RHS of hydrogen and oxygen are equal. The chemical equation is balanced. So final step will be, hence the above equation is a balanced chemical equation. So for that you have to verify. How are you verifying? By counting it again. Here 2 2s are 4, 4 hydrogens on LHS. 2 2s are 4, 4 hydrogens on RHS. 2 oxygens on LHS, and here the coefficient is 2, so 2 oxygens on RHS. Thank you for watching, and if you have any doubts, please comment below.